Welcome to the Soul Art Podcast. I'm your host and guide, Will Caminada, and it is my mission to help you become more in touch with your soul, expand your consciousness, and shine your light brighter and brighter so that you can live a life with more purpose, inspiration, and love. My intention for this show is to create a safe place where you can find support and guidance on your spiritual awakening and healing journey. Hello, beautiful soul. Thank you so much for choosing to listen to the Soul Art Podcast. In this solo cast episode, I'm going to tell you what may happen when you focus only on your upper chakras, the third eye chakra in between your eyebrows, and the crown chakra at the very top of your head. So I'll also share some of my personal experiences in relation to this topic. So if you're someone who's been wanting to connect more with your upper chakras because you want a deeper connection with the spiritual realm and you've been focusing and meditating only on them, or you think that the upper chakras are better than the lower chakras, then this show is for you. The show is also for you if you want to gain more knowledge about the chakras and just overall awareness about your energy system. And just a quick request before I get into today's episode, make sure you hit the subscribe button in whatever platform you listen to your podcasts so that you never miss any future content. So in the first two episodes of the podcast, I talked a lot about the spiritual awakening and how I see it as a journey. When we go through the more, let's say, impactful spiritual awakening moment, and we start learning more about spiritual concepts, about energy, about healing, etc., it's very common for people to want to focus on the connection with spirit. And in a way, start neglecting the human experience. This is also known as spiritual bypass. Some people stay there, but if you continue the work to keep expanding your consciousness and healing, you will find that one of the most spiritual things you can do is to honor your human experience, to honor your body, honor your ego, and all that comes along with this human journey. And you understand that it's not just about opening up your channels to the spiritual world, but finding this sort of balance and connection with your spirit and your human self. So when we're talking about the 7 chakras, we have the lower chakras, the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus. And lower does not mean inferior. It literally means the chakras that connect you to the earth, to your human self, to your humanness. Then we have the heart in the heart center, which, as I mentioned in the previous episode, is the bridge between your lower chakras and the upper chakras. And the upper chakras are the throat, the third eye, and the crown, which, again, they're not superior, but they are the ones that connect us to the spiritual realm, to our divine self, to our divine creativity, to our intuition, to the communication with our guides, and just overall connection with the universe, source, God, whatever you call it. So I totally understand why we want to focus on opening, healing, and energizing these upper chakras in the initial phases of the spiritual awakening. Because first, it's novelty, and second, we are sort of craving for this connection, and we learn that it's possible, and in fact, it's always been there. And I'm talking here more about the 6th and the 7th chakras, the third eye and the crown, because they are the gateway or portal, if you will, to the spiritual realms. And just before I get into the effects and focusing on the upper chakras, there's something I want to explain. So when one of your chakras is not balanced, it may be either overactive or underactive. I've also heard people say hyperactive and hypoactive. I'm going to use overactive and underactive here. When your chakra is overactive, it means that the chakra is spreading too much energy. It is working in overdrive and bringing imbalance to the chakra. In my mind, I imagine the energy, this light just spinning around super fast, faster than what should be. And when your chakra is underactive, it's the opposite. The chakra is experiencing some kind of blockage and it's not distributing the flow of energy. And again, in my mind, I imagine the light spinning around, but very, very slowly. So one thing that can happen when your crown chakra and third eye chakra are overactive is you may become very ungrounded, you lose connection with earth, with your earthly matters, even with your physical body, because all you want is to be connected up there. And you may come across as a little bit apathetic towards other people. Yes, I've been called apathetic before, and I now get why. And you may also feel a sense of superiority because people aren't seeing the big picture, or they're not quote unquote spiritual. So another thing that is very common is you become cloudy headed, forgetful, and kind of aloof a lot of the time. And this has happened to me, and I'll share an experience that I had in 2017 when I was going through what I would say one more level of my spiritual awakening journey. I basically was in surrender mode. I was living in the UK at the time, in London, and I needed to leave the UK for visa issues. And the whole paperwork, bureaucratic issues were taking their toll on me. And when you have a strong root and sacral chakra, you can deal with them fine. But anyway, I booked a trip to Thailand to experience an intensive month of yoga and meditation and just learn more about spirituality and go deep in my healing journey. So I get to London's Heathrow Airport with plenty of time to check in and board. I check in and then I decide to exchange money, and this lovely Indian gentleman is helping me. But he was very slow, especially because he was counting the money. He wanted to be very thorough, he wanted to pay attention. But at the same time, he wanted to talk to me and he wanted to learn more about my journey and my spiritual views on things. He was very interested in my trip to Thailand and what I was going to do there in terms of, meditating and yoga. And I was super calm, but I was so calm that I completely lost track of time. And also I didn't want to rush his work. And I just engaged in the conversation. So you know what happened, right? I lost my flight. For the first time in my life, I lost my flight. Not only that, I lost money because I had to buy another ticket. And something similar happened while I was in Thailand, in the island of Koh Phangan. And this even actually happened a few days after I felt my Kundalini awaken. And I actually passed out because the energy that came to and through my third eye was extremely intense. But what happened was I went to the cash machine to withdraw money, and I ended up forgetting my card in the machine. And by the time I remembered that I forgot it, it wasn't there. So there I was in paradise without my bank card and not able to withdraw money or pay things with my card. Luckily, I had cash and another credit card, but you see my point here? I was forgetful, I was aloof, and that's not like me naturally. I was so focused on connecting with my upper chakras, and it wasn't necessarily on purpose, but this was leading me to forget things, to lose track of time, missing flights, and it was leading me to lose money for no reason. I wasn't grounded enough. I was, even if subconsciously, neglecting my lower chakras. The other side of the coin, when these two chakras are underactive, you may not feel present in your body. You may not feel like doing any physical work or tasks that demand constant and continuous mental attention. Especially when it comes to the third eye, you may feel extremely inspired, like being poured with great ideas, but then you have a lack of motivation to actually create and manifest them. So the creation and manifestation of your ideas have a lot to do with your solar plexus and your sacral chakra. The same happens when you're not aligned with your upper chakras. You want to create, but you don't feel inspired, or you have the so-called creative blocks. So you see, again, it's a balance. And opposite to that sense of superiority and judgment that one may feel when the crown chakra is overactive, here when it's underactive, your judgment may be too loving. Like, I see the light in everyone, and that's a good thing, don't get me wrong, but what may happen if you're only seeing the good in people is they will take advantage of you. So it's important to keep that heart connection, to listen to the heart intelligence I mentioned earlier and in my previous episode. One thing for me that's really important to point out here is that the crown chakra especially is the chakra that connects us to our true purpose in life. When you have a balanced crown chakra, you are aligned with your purpose in this life. You are honoring your human experience, and at the same time, you are connected to your true essence. And when you have both an underactive and overactive crown chakra, you may lose that sense of purpose. And in extreme cases, you may literally lose the will to live as a human being, and the earthly issues and practical aspects of the world will overwhelm you, will upset you to the point of depression. And again, that's extreme, but a balanced crown chakra keeps you on track with your soul's purpose, and the alignment and balance of the rest of your chakras will help you fulfill this purpose. So for me, the key is to keep them balanced. And balance is a continuous work. It's the motion that keeps us going, that keeps us growing, that keeps us evolving and keeps us alive. And that's why I believe having and expanding this awareness of your energy system, of this connection between mind, body, and soul is going to help you tremendously in your journey. If you want to know how to know which chakra you should focus on, you should check my previous episode 6. It's called the 5 ways to know which chakra you should focus on, and that's if you haven't already. I go really deep on this topic of having this energy awareness. And one of the things I said in the episode is that it's not about having 100% balance of your chakras 100% of the time, but it's knowing which chakra or chakras may need more attention at a specific day or week, and then focusing on that. Okay, if you're still having doubts about what you should be doing to heal and balance your chakras, I have a free 7 chakras healing meditation which will guide you into not only understanding more about each chakra, but you will also feel them in your body. I'll leave links in the show's notes as usual. And if you have any question about this topic or any other, you can message me and I'll be happy to answer or even create an episode from your questions. In the next episode, I will bring a guided meditation to activate and balance your third eye. Don't overdo it if you need more grounding. If this episode has brought you value, please subscribe to my podcast and take a screenshot of it. Share it to your Instagram story and be sure to tag me at GuiWill, GUI-Will, so I know that it's brought you value and your friends may also benefit from this episode. As always, keep shining your light, keep your heart open, and let love lead the way. I love you. See you on the next episode.